Alex, it's been a month since we last spoke and quite a bit's happened for the reserves in the last sort of month. First of all, let's talk about, obviously, middle of this period you travelled away to Plymouth, and unfortunately the game was postponed due to the incident that happened on the way, where yourself and a couple of others had to sort of perform CPR. How has the group sort of been since then?
Obviously the incident was terrible. It was the day itself was I struggled to find words for it, to be honest with you, just because you set out to go and play football. You don't expect that type of thing to happen, of course. So it hit the girls incredibly hard. The girls unfortunately saw a lot of what was going on, especially with myself and Amanda and one of the parents conducting CPR. The girls were in sight of that, which has left a lasting effect on them. What is testament to the girls is that it has brought us together, and brought them boundaries down a lot quicker than spending a lot of time together. Because when you experience something like that together, the only thing is to do is sort of come together and sort of close ranks and look after your own, and that's exactly what the girls did. And testament to them that they sort of did that.
And how's the support been from the club and from for yourself and for the girls following that incident?
I've been inundated with messages of support from my military background. On the day, the club was absolutely incredible. How the club orchestrated the support that it gave me was absolutely perfect. It wasn't too much, so then it was like overbearing, but it was just enough to sort of keep guiding me. I had the welfare officer sat next to me, which was absolutely perfect, because everything that we was doing was bouncing off each other. She was absolutely incredible on the day, because there was loads of ideas floating around after the incident to do with what we should then do, and the decision was made that we would go down and spend some time together as a group down at Plymouth Docks, just have something to eat, have a bit of a drink, let the girls chat. And that was a great show, to be honest with you. But the Plymouth girls were fantastic, as well as the Plymouth coaches. So yeah, massive thank you to those guys for that.
Of course, yes, massive thank you to everybody that supported the club during that period. But on to the actual football, because aside from that, you have managed to play a few games. You've been a little bit like the first, with a few stop-starts to the season, but kicked it off at home with a couple of home fixtures. Home to Portsmouth in the league and then home to Stourbridge. What do you make of those games? Because it started off with a loss and then you won in the cup as well, which is the first win for a reserve side for Southampton in the National League. Yeah,
do you know what? I've got to say that coming into this league, it was difficult to see sort of whereabouts we was ability levels in comparison to the other teams. So when sort of the game kicked off and we was matching Portsmouth, and then we had the ball on the back of the net, unfortunately it did get called offside. But I took so much away from that game, because they scored a great goal to make it 1-0, and then we've sort of pushed to then try and steal a goal on the break, and they've just broken scored to make it 2-0. I can take that all day, because my biggest thing for this type, that game in particular, was not the result, it was the performance, and the girls put on a great performance that day. So that was a massive sort of uplift for us. Coming in against Stourbridge, again, obviously going into the unknown, they hadn't had a very good start. They got beat by Derby. That's literally all I knew about them. A great set of guys and coaches, and the game kicked off, and the performance wasn't the best. However, the girls wanted to push for the result. Going 1-0 down, testament to their sort of attitude, especially over this last period, and they pulled it back, and we got the 2-1 win, which was fantastic. They really needed that result to boost their confidence.
And then of course the weekend following on from when you were supposed to play Plymouth, you host Bournemouth, and it looked like an absolute cracking game, 3-3, and you come from 2-0 down, showing again great character. Yeah.
And again, that's what I've seen from the girls right the way throughout my time here, is character. We can roll our punches and then pick ourselves up. At 2-0 we went in. Okay, we changed a couple of things slightly with the wingers, and it just really came off. Gabri got more involved, Phoebe got more involved, as you can see, playing off Leggy. We got the 2 goals, and then they even went and scored another one, which again should have set my girls right back. And there you're thinking, okay, so the performance has been good. Okay, however, we've not got the result today, and then I've got to say, props to one of the coaches as I was going to swap Phoebe out, but he said give her 2 more minutes, and then as I've turned round, she's hit one with her left foot, and it's gone in the top bin. And on from that we could have gone and won it. We've had one disallowed, and then we've hit the crossbar as well with Amy Smith coming back in. So testament to the guys, and listen, Bournemouth are a very good team, so are Portsmouth. To be mixing it with those guys and to be getting the results that we have and the performance that we have, more importantly, it just meant so much. I mean, I was almost in tears. I almost did a mat back in off the back of that performance. But yeah, it was brilliant. It was so good to see.
And of course, this month as well, like we spoke before the season started about aims, is about the performances from the girls, the seeing their progress, and also seeing them get into the first team and around. And you've had 3 players this month get called up, 2 getting their debuts in Caitlin Bevan, Phoebe Hamilton, and then obviously Manisha Kaur getting her second call up as well. So there's got to be testament there to yourself and to the girls on the sort of performances that they're putting in on the pitch and in training.
Yeah, do you know what? It's nothing short of what they deserve. Manisha had a great start of the season. Caitlin's one, and Phoebe, they've all had really good starts to the season. And at the start of all this, I said to Smithy, would there be opportunities for my girls to come in? And he was really enthusiastic when he said absolutely. If they're playing well and they deserve the shout, then they're going to come up. And he's sticking to his word. Okay, and they're getting their opportunities.
And of course, you've got some more big games coming up. Tomorrow night you're in cup action again in the SDFA Cup. You're taking on the other Southampton's development squad. What are you expecting from that game? Because obviously last year they were the winners of this competition, beating the first.
Yeah, so like for me, and I do a lot of research on other coaches and how they approach different things, and and I've told the girls all week. Brad Stevens says, it doesn't matter the results so long as we leave it all out on the field and we don't have any regrets. That is massively important to me. The performance tomorrow, as long as the girls leave it all out on the field, okay, then I can walk away from that, and so can they with the head held high. We are a development squad, okay, so we're not going to get everything all at once, okay. Although, listen, a lot of them girls do want everything all at once. They want to be there and thereabouts. But this is a massive game for them. To be playing at that ground, which is an incredible ground. I've been up there and seen. I think I've watched 2 games up there now. And playing against a team like Southampton, okay, in the spotlight with fans, it's going to be incredible. I hope the atmosphere is going to be good. It's a massive opportunity for them. We were so excited for it.
And then of course, back end of the month, you're going to be facing Keynsham Town and Exeter City. What are you expecting from those games, and are you looking to sort of just the continuation of what the girls have done in this first month?
Yeah, do you know what? I've got to say, like, one of my personal philosophies in coaching is that I want to give a player 30% on top of what they've already got. Whereas when it comes to these girls, they're going to get a lot more just because of the belief, okay, when they're coming into this league, okay, because it's just the unknown, but the confidence is starting to grow now, okay, especially with that, 3-3 against Bournemouth. And once it's started like it has, it's going to snowball, okay. And as I said, we've scratched the surface with these girls, and they're just starting to come out of the shell. You've seen that yesterday with Gabri and Phoebe, okay, and there's loads more to come.